Y'all, I'm crazy. When I get an intuitive hit, I just show up. Um, it's like 9 o'clock at night. I've already done lives. I've already done posts. I've already talked to you guys. But you guys saw my post and you guys keep commenting, and I feel like I have to say something. First of all, hi. If you are on the replay, which if you're watching at this point, you are, say replay. But I wanted to talk about trauma and pain. And honestly, this is something that I didn't believe in before because I didn't understand it. And now that I see it and like experienced it, I don't know how I didn't see it before. So I just got a question on the post of how my pain originated, basically. And was it just emotional? So when you say that you have emotional pain and it's showing up physically, it doesn't mean that you're imagining your pain and that it's just like you're sad and then you're just manifesting random pain through your body. It means, for me, it meant that one, there's energy blocks, there's tension in your body that those emotions create, right? It creates the tension. But the other thing, back in my 20s, there goes that start of the sentence. If you're on, say hi. Back in my 20s, after I went through all that crap, what I did was I ran on my legs. And when you do something, whether it's run, exercise, which is good for you, right? When you do something like exercise, build a business, get into a relationship, and you haven't fixed your trauma and you have negative emotions, whether it's fear that you haven't even seen, fear that you're going to end up like your parents, or fear that you're going to get into another like abusive relationship, or fear that they're going to leave you, or fear that your business isn't going to be successful, or fear that you're not good enough, or whatever. If you get into something or exercise, right, and you have that fear, you push yourself in a way that's punishing. Hey, Adam, you push yourself in a way that's punishing. And so what I did was I ran for 6 years in anger. And you can kind of see it, like I'm feeling it in my body right now. I was so angry and I pushed myself. And when I did that, we do like self-destructing things, right? I ran in anger and I pushed myself, but I pushed myself to the point where I got injured on my feet. I got plantar fasciitis. It sounds like a fungus. I swear it's not. But basically, it hurts when you walk. When you get up out of bed, your feet hurt, and it's telling you to stop running, right? So I ran to the point where I actually got pain in my feet, and I kept running. That's what emotional pain is. Emotional pain is when you don't take care of your emotions and then you do something on top of that that creates emotional pain. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll get into we'll build a business, right? Because we don't think we're good enough and we want to keep up with our older brother and, make our dad proud and, feed the family. And like, we have all these fears, like if we aren't successful in our business, then that means we're not good enough. And when we build a business from that, I have to prove myself. What that does is it creates emotional pain. You do things to punish yourself, which means you're going to be working 14, 15, 16-hour days and really punishing yourself for not being good enough, right? You haven't made the money yet. You haven't gotten the clients yet. And so you're punishing yourself. Well, I'm just going to work until I get to this milestone, and then I'll go on vacation. But that mindset is there. And that creates pain in our body. That's why one of the reasons why we hate corporate so much, because we force ourselves to sit in the chairs and do the work and, oh, we're working for somebody else. But really, the problem isn't corporate. The problem is we're doing something that we don't want to be doing, like software engineering. We're punishing ourselves for not being good enough, not knowing what we want to do with our lives. Like everyone else knows what they're doing with their life, and I'm so far behind. These are the thoughts that are going through our head. And when we do that, that creates emotional pain. So emotional pain, yeah, it's your body locking up. It's you not releasing the emotions that are happening, and you not healing. And so you just end up being really tense. So for the last, I don't know, since September, I've had a lot of knots in my legs, tension, right? Because I just had all these emotions built up. And when hey, Heather, when I finally realized that, okay, so I worked through my leg stuff, almost done. And then I had this weird back thing where my back just gave out. And I was in the living room on the floor for 40 minutes. I could not get up. Like I had to pull myself up with the furniture. And I already knew this pain, emotional pain connection, right? So what I did is I was like, okay, what in my life do I need to address? What do I need to look at? Hey, Michael, what do I need to look at in my life? And while I was laying there Saturday night, what night is tonight? Oh, it's Tuesday. While I was laying there Saturday night, and I was just like, why did my back give out? Why am I on the floor? I just knew that I had to end like my friendship with my ex because it was creating a weird space with me. So the next day I called him up and was like, sorry, we can't be friends. It sucks, but I need this. I need to be me. And so ended that, and literally 2 days later, completely cured. Like my back, like I stretched, but there is no reason that I should have gone from on the floor, unable to get up, to completely healed. And a week later, I was out salsa dancing, which is very important. So it's not just emotions. It's what we do to punish ourselves when we don't take care of our emotions. And honestly, our emotions are there to take care of us. And I know they're annoying sometimes, right? When you're just like, why do I have anxiety? Why do I have depression? But really, it's telling you, it's pain, right? It's telling you, it's like putting your hand on a hot stove. It's telling you to take your hand off that stove. So my anxiety, my depression before, that was telling me to not be married to a man that I didn't trust. Like, figure that shit out. Either work to heal or get out, make a decision. And it was telling me to get out of software engineering. But the bigger picture, it was telling me that I needed healing. So all your emotions are telling you that you need healing. And when we don't take care of our emotions, when we don't take care of when we take a pill, which there's nothing wrong with taking a pill. I've taken lots of pills. But when you're taking a pill and not taking care of the healing, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have residual, like you're going to keep getting in the same abusive relationships. You're going to keep having the same money mindset issues. You're going to keep having the same problems in your business. It doesn't matter what problems you have in your business. You can get out of that business and get into another business and have the same problem because you're not taking care of that underlying issue, right? You're not taking care of the problem. We keep trying to change everything outside of ourselves. We keep trying to change all these things in our lives, like, oh, it's this guy that I'm with, or it's, my partner, my whatever. Oh, it's the cat. It's not that. It's what's going on inside of you. Everything is a reflection of what's going on inside of you, and that includes your pain. So yes, it was emotional pain, but emotional pain means, what do you do when you're having that emotion? What is that causing to happen in your body? You're going to tense up. You're going to hold that muscle. It's like being in the gym and just like holding the weight, and your arm is going to lock up, right? And that's what's going to happen with your emotional pain. So before, I thought it was like making up pain and like, how is this emotional? Like, no, it's real. It's real pain. And I didn't understand that the trauma, hey Scott, the trauma created a space for me to decide that I wanted to punish myself and to beat myself into the ground until I was in pain, right? But that is a sign that, good to see you. But that is a sign that you need to take care of your emotions. So what happens is you have the emotion, and if you don't listen to the anxiety, if you don't listen to the fact that you're hurting, if you don't listen to the depression, then that will cause you to do something else. So, for example, it will cause you to cheat, or it will cause you to binge eat, or it will cause you to run yourself into the ground, like literally, like what I did. It will cause you to sabotage your business because you're not listening to that emotion. So it's going to cause you to do other things, right? And I'm not saying there's like an excuse for all this stuff, but what I'm saying is you really have to look at, there is a reason you're sabotaging. Like, we sabotage all the time, but we don't really realize why we're doing it. And we don't probably even realize that we're doing it. We probably just have labeled ourselves procrastinators or lazy or unmotivated. And we just think that we need a cat babysitter. We just think that we need these external things, but really what we need to do is we need to go internally and figure out what's actually going on. I've gotten a lot of questions on trauma and healing and what to do if you're in a relationship and how to deal with like abuse and all the things. But really, get a water gun. But really, you need to look at the emotions. You need to look at what is going on. And that's really hard to do. It's really painful. I know a lot of you have talked to me and you've been through a lot of childhood stuff, a lot of sexual trauma, a lot of relationship stuff, a lot of, what are the signs of a toxic relationship? That's a great question. There's a lot of signs, but okay, if you are in a relationship and, well, if they just treat you badly, and if they talk down to you, or if they, oh God, there's so many, so many. The thing of it is if you look at how you treat yourself, and if you love yourself, and if you're taking care of your emotions, you're going to realize that you deserve better, and you're going to be able to identify those toxic relationships. You're going to be able to identify when somebody is being like crossing your boundaries and being disrespectful, right? We all make mistakes, but when we are in a relationship, hey, Robert, hey, oh my gosh, Snizana. We all get into relationships. We all do things that we, aren't proud of. But when somebody is unnecessarily mean, that's a sign. Like, with any of my relationships, I've never been in a relationship where they've called me names, treated me badly. We've argued, but we've never yelled at each other, never thrown anything at each other. I mean, those are signs. If they don't respect you as a person and don't really allow you to be yourself, and that's a sign. There's a lot of signs of toxic relationships. Do you have anything in mind specifically? Basically, if you look around at your relationships and you are putting yourself first out of respect and love for yourself, then you're going to notice when somebody is in your life and they're not respecting you and putting the kind of respect that you would have on yourself. Constant criticism. Yes. Now, there is something with that between men and, I'm just going to generalize, but men and women. Guys think that women are always criticizing when we're trying to help. So there is that communication thing between men and women that you guys have to work out. But if they are, there's a line that can be crossed, but a lot of guys in relationships are like, she's criticizing me all the time. Like, I can't really say anything without like when I'm with somebody, without them taking that as criticism. So work at that communication style for sure. Go to counseling, get a coach. But there comes a point where it's like just mean. Like, the things that I say are taken as criticism, but they're not mean. Like, you can tell a difference between somebody who's mean-spirited and somebody who, like, even my ex-husband, like, we swept a lot of shit under the carpet, obviously, but he was never mean, right? Well, okay, the cheating thing, yes. But we ended on good terms, more or less, and we both walked away thinking we were going to get back together. Though inside I knew. I think we both knew. Yeah, so you have to take care of the underlying issue. You can't keep getting into these patterns and these. Our trauma keeps us, if we don't heal it, keeps us in these bad relationships. It keeps us having problems with money. So many problems. It keeps us having problems with our businesses. And if it's like the core of who you are, if you can't heal that, if you haven't healed that, and because I know I talked to somebody that was like working on it their entire lives today, and they're like, I'm just getting deep into this stuff, right? And that's from when she was like a child, and mine is just 15 years, right? So you do have to go deep. You can't just go to counseling. And I know this sounds harsh, but you can't just go to counseling, go to conferences, and read self-help books. You've got to know that you've got to work with somebody who's been there, done that, knows how to turn that around, and knows how to go take you deep into what happened to you and what pain it's causing for you, right? I have my PT person and coaches. So I have both sides. I have a massage therapist. So I have like all sides covered. I'm going and doing the work, right? And I think it helps that I had this, I am a coach, but I still needed my coach friends and my PT and my massage therapist, because you can't do this alone. And for so long, I hid. Because I didn't know that I needed healing. I didn't know that it was that bad, right? I didn't know that I was causing myself harm. And that's why I talk about this a lot, because I want you guys to hear my story, not because I have a great story, but because I want you guys to see where you are in this path. Because I believe we all kind of go through this path where we have something happen. And if you haven't had anything happen, that's amazing. But most people I know, they've had trauma and been through some shit, right? So you have something happen, and I believe that I had a really good perspective, right? Considering, right? But you have this thing happen, and then you have your reaction to it, and then you self-sabotage. And I want you to see my path and how I came from where I had the trauma and then where I healed. You guys, if you've been following me for the last year, you've seen a lot of that, right? You've seen it come up, and how it's changed everything for me. Like last year, the way I showed up on Facebook, like I showed up for sure, but since I've healed, I'm completely different in my business. And I think if you go back and you're like, yeah, I can kind of see where she would drop off and I would just sleep for a week. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. Okay, obviously the bodybuilding competition, the relationship stuff, the healing stuff. I had a lot of shit going on. Okay. So when you, hey, Monica, I'm not wearing makeup. She's my makeup friend. This is a very, very important point. Okay. When you go through shit, whether you are in the shit right now, whether you're in a relationship that's like taxing you, or you're in a business and it's like, oh my God, it's all crazy, or you had trauma in your past. When you go through something, it will take a lot out of you. And that means it's going to drain your energy. Because trauma is like having a surgery. It's like having an emotional surgery. So you have to remember that when you go through trauma, that you're going to need to sleep, like a lot. Like take naps all over the place. Just get a cot, drag it around with you, because it's going to drain you. Because your emotions are going through a lot. It's like a surgery. So if you've been through trauma, and you haven't healed from it, be kind to yourself. If you're going through relationship stuff, be kind to yourself. Yeah. Yeah. And like, so many people have had so much trauma. So be kind to yourself. Treat yourself like you would want someone, like, treat yourself like you would treat your best friend who just went through trauma. Like, that's very, very important. Because if you treat yourself like you usually treat yourself, you're not going to treat yourself probably very well, right? This is how I've learned how to treat myself, right? But if you treat yourself like your best friend, then you're going to be like, oh, don't worry, just take it easy, rest, I'll take care of you, right? So treat yourself that way, rest, get lots of sleep, do the deep work. Do the deep work. I know that when we go through trauma, that it takes so much out of us that we don't really feel like we have the energy to go deep. But it's like, how long do you want to stay in that pain? How long do you want to stay in that trauma? Because even if you're out of the marriage, or you're out of the situation, or out of whatever, you're not out of it. Your emotional side is still in it, right? You're still in pain. Like, I've been carrying this pain for 15 years. And now, last summer, hello, it showed up, right? But I told you guys that I had been so afraid. Oh, I see Basil. Yeah. Wait, I can't find her. I told you guys that I had a fear of dying at 47 because my mom had cancer and she died at 47. And I was like, every birthday, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. And last year was the first birthday that I was good. This year was a little traumatic. But now that I've gone through and dealt with the reasons why I had that fear, I feel so much better. I feel like, okay, the fear is going to probably come up, but I know that I've dealt with it. If it comes up, it's going to be like, just what happens is when we have pain, emotional pain, physical pain, and something triggers us, then it all just kind of happens again, right? If we're not aware of it, if we don't know how to work through it, right? So birthdays every year, because every year I get 42, getting closer. Every year that triggers me. So I already know that. So prepare for that and have a plan for what triggers you. When, like, last week, my pain kind of flared up a little bit, and I just ended up on the couch crying. But that was a crazy emotional response for the amount of pain that I had, because the amount of pain I had wasn't that, this is ridiculous, the response that I had, but I know that it was a trigger. So know that you are going to get triggered. Know that you're going to have to work through the triggers. And it's just, once you get to the other side of the healing, and I don't know that I'm completely on the other side, but I feel like I am. But once you get to the other side, it's like, I don't know, it's just like amazing. It hurts. It hurt to go through the PT. And I hurt in the morning. I hurt when I went to the gym. I hurt because I did PT at the gym. I hurt after PT, and I was like, fuck my life. Fuck. It was terrible. And then I had all the emotion stuff, and like going in to my past and what had happened to me. And I was like, this is hard. It's hard. But I knew that I was done with it. I knew that I couldn't stay. I was like, it was a done deal. Like, I am going to figure this stuff out. One, I want a relationship. I want a healthy relationship. So I've got to work this out. Two, I don't want this physical pain. Three, I don't want to die of cancer when I turn 47. That sounds so weird. Four, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And this is all part of being able to have a soul that's on fire, right? This is all part of being alive, feeling alive. You have to go and get through all the healing to get back to where you were before all that trauma, right? Or maybe a better place, right? You have to come back to yourself. You have to come back and heal that relationship with yourself. Otherwise, we're going to live with guilt, anger, resentment, depression, anxiety. And it just breaks my heart, like how many posts I see where people like, do you have a quick tip for anxiety? I'm like, I can't put that in a quick tip. But I do know how to fix that, right? So I just know that wherever you are, that it's the other side is not that far. It's not that far to the other side. But I know it feels like it's far. It feels like it's never going to end. It feels like the pain isn't going to go away. It feels like you've tried all the things. And honestly, this is the work that I do with my clients. It's the work that I've done. It's the work that transforms your life. It really is. I mean, so many things. Like so many things. I can't even tell you that, like, all the things that have, like, all the results my clients have had and things that I've gone through and they've gone through and all the things. But this is the thing. This is the thing. You can't have, like, real passion and excitement and feel free until you get free of this pain. I haven't felt free while I was working through my PT because I had the pain. I was like, I'm on the couch and I'm just going to be on the couch. I can't go out. I can't sit. I couldn't sit. So I had to lay through. That's why I laid down in all my Facebook lives last year. Spoiler alert. So really, if you want to feel that freedom and excitement and passion and, like, all the things, this is it. Just heal. Just heal. That's it. That's the answer. But if you guys have more questions, put them in. Ask them. If you're on the replay, say replay, but ask questions. Seriously. I feel like there's going to be more Facebook Lives on this. Shocker, right? Okay, that's it. I guess that's it, unless you guys have more questions. I am going to go, and I will see you guys on the next Facebook Live. Do not forget to sign up for notifications above, probably. sign up for notifications. I'm going to be talking about all the things, Facebook Lives, posts, and my retreat coming up next month. And you've got to know about that. Yeah, thanks for being here, Scott. Yay, you made it to a whole one. Okay, I will see you guys at the next Facebook Live and then on the retreat. Bye.